All right. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Hot Seat Automotive Podcast. It is your buddy CJ here, and tonight we're talking about all things automotive industry, the car guy hobby, cars, all the things that them real gearheads love talking about. Real gearhead talk. You know this is the place to be for that real gearhead talk. Welcome, everybody, all my subscribers. You know your buddy CJ appreciates and loves each and every one of you. Welcome back. And if you're new here, give me a like and subscribe. Around here, we're gearheads. We're car guys from all walks of life. And we just love talking about cars and trucks and hot rods and exotic cars and supercars and, oh, hell, even some motorcycles once in a while. You name it. Guys, anything with wheels and an engine, even an electric motor. We love them all. But welcome, everybody. Let's get right into it. Listen, I know it's been a minute since I've recorded one of these episodes. Listen, life shows up. A lot of stuff going on. Your buddy CJ, from a business standpoint and from a life standpoint and travel standpoint, lots of really cool, exciting things. But my promise to you, my commitment, is that in all my adventures in the past couple months, let me tell you something. I've seen a lot of cars and a lot of trucks, and I've driven a whole gang of them. And I got a whole gang of content that I got to talk to you about. You know, I have 5 episodes I want to record right now tonight, but I can't record them all at once. So guys, we're going to get right into this. Tonight, we got a showdown, okay? Head to head, head to head. And it's a classic battle, okay? If you a car guy, this is a classic battle. So I need to know where you stand. You got to leave me them comments. You got to let me know. You got to pick a side. Ford versus Chevy in the sport performance truck showdown from the early 1990s. I'm going to take you back. I'm going to take you back to a time called 1993. Okay? Listen, Bill Clinton was in the White House. MTV was still playing music videos. Are you kidding me? And we had an epic showdown on the streets. Okay? I'm not talking about Mustang versus Camaro. I'm not talking about BMW versus Corvette. No. Ferrari versus Lamborghini. No. Not tonight. I'm talking about the Ford Lightning versus the Chevy 454 SS pickup trucks, 1993. This was a fascinating time in our hobby, guys. And I'm just going to be quick to the point tonight. You know what I'm talking about, cuz we're going to get right into it. We got to pick a winner. Which one's the heavyweight champ? Ford Lightning or Chevy 454 SS 1993? It's your money at the dealership, cuz. It's your money, not mine. Which one you going with? Come on, let's take a quick look at them. And we're going to decide together, because that's what we do on Hot Seat Automotive Podcast. Let me tell you something. Ford F-150 Lightning pickup truck. SVT, Special Vehicle Team, SVT. It doesn't even exist anymore, right? This is the same group within Ford that bought you the Mustang Cobra. Okay? Let me tell you something. In a pickup truck with the 351 Windsor V8, how about that for a throwback? 351, okay? Listen, she's good for about what? I got my notes here, guys. She's good for about 240 horsepower and about 340 foot-pounds of torque. Okay? Do not get it twisted. In 2025, that sounds pitiful. That don't sound like anything. Your Camry has that. But this was not 2025. This is 1993. Okay? And that's actually very respectable and cool. And you're looking at, listen, between both of these trucks, you're talking about the quarter mile, somewhere in the upper 14s, low 15s. So by today's standards, you say, well, what the hell is that, CJ? But in 1993, that was very respectable. 0 to 60, about 7 seconds. V8 rear-wheel drive. But SVT, Special Vehicle Team, went further. Suspension, dual exhaust, interior upgrades. Look at those cool wheels. Look at the stance of this truck, okay? Look at that Lightning logo that became so iconic, not just for the first generation Lightning, but how about the second generation? Do I even want to talk about the EV Lightning? Am I going to go there tonight? Yes, I am, but not now. Let's talk about this guy. This is a cool truck, okay? In every sense of the word. Are you a Ford guy? Listen, you were king of the cruise night in 1993 if you showed up in the F-150 Lightning. Very cool performance truck. Coming out of that kind of, am I going to say this? The malaise era. 1980s were not a great time for performance vehicles. Listen, I know we had the Grand National. Don't tell me. I was there. I know we had the Monte Carlo SS. Okay? I know we had the Mustang GTs. I know we had those Dodge Daytona Shelby turbo coupes. But let me tell you something. There wasn't a whole hell of a lot muscle-wise in the early 90s. This thing was a throwback with its 351 Windsor. V8, rear-wheel drive, sinister looking, blacked out. You can get it in red too. I don't know. Were there other colors available in this? I'm not sure. Leave me those comments if you know. By the way, if you have one of these in good shape, you out there, reach out to me because I'm fitting to buy it from you. I want it. Guys, I've always wanted one of these. How about you? I just think it's a cool cruiser and would be absolutely cool to have. But you got to understand, back in this era, it wasn't exactly like the muscle car resurgence that we had in the early 2010s-ish, you know, what Dodge brought back and Chevrolet brought back, you know, this high-performance resurgence. That's not where we were in 1993. So this thing really set the bar, in my opinion. Performance truck, F-150 Lightning. But wait, there's a sinister competitor on the streets, Ford boys. Let me tell you something. That Lightning was not safe on the streets in 1993. You want to know why? Chevy actually beat him to the punch with the 454 SS. Came out before the Lightning. Okay, let's take a look at this guy, because I'm telling you what, this is a baddie right here. This is the one. This is the one. Are you kidding me? Chevy 454 SS pickup truck. Huh? Big block. Big block. Are you kidding me? 454, boys. The number one thing that the 454 SS had that the Lightning didn't have was a presence. You got to understand, in the late 80s, early 90s, nobody was talking about big blocks. This was the era of the V6 turbo lame duck coming out of Detroit. Let me tell you something. Not a lot of people were ordering performance vehicles with big block Chevys. That was not a thing in 1993. Don't get it twisted. We didn't have the big hot Camaro Z28, you know, with supercharger and all this tearing up the road. No, these V8s coming out and the Camaros and the Corvettes of the era were being choked by emissions. Okay, that goes back to the 80s and even the late 70s, right? So, you know, this whole concept of there's no replacement for displacement was not really a theme in the early 90s. We were trending towards, you know, this transitional era where the V8s had been choked since the late 70s, 80s into the early 90s. You weren't getting a hell of a lot out of these V8s quite yet. It wasn't the resurgence in V8 performance quite yet in 1993. We weren't quite there. Instead, there was this move coming out of, you know, listen, Dodge was notorious. The four-cylinder turbocharged innovation, the V6 turbocharged innovation coming out of Buick with the Grand National and the Regal T-types. These were the performance indicators for the next wave, right, in the automotive industry. V8, high displacement, big block? Are you kidding me? That was not a thing in 1993. And you could disagree with me, but I was there, fellas. That's just the way it was. So what am I telling you? This 454 SS pickup truck blew our minds. I know when I first saw one, I was never really a pickup truck guy, but when I first started seeing these in the streets, 1990, 1989, 1992, around there, you saw these on the streets. They had a presence, okay? There was a sinister element. That 454 SS badge meant something to automotive enthusiasts, okay? And these were just super cool. Now, the performance, let me give you some of the numbers. You know your buddy CJ going to keep it real, cuz. I'm going to give you them numbers. Calm down. Listen, 7.4 liter V8. That's a 454. The story of this engine is the 405 foot-pounds of torque. 405 foot-pounds of torque. Going back to late 80s, early 90s in this truck. Okay? And about 255 horsepower. So even though you had a slight horsepower bump in the 454 SS, pretty significant torque increase in the 454 SS. No surprise there. 351 cubic inch in the Ford Lightning, 454 cubic inch in the Chevy SS. Guess which one's going to have more torque? All other things considered equal, of course. Big block Chevy, V8 rear wheel drive. Come on. 0 to 60, somewhere around 7 seconds ish. Very close to the Lightning. Very close to the Lightning. The weight was like 4,500, 4,400, 4,500 pounds for either one of these rigs. So big, chunky, heavy trucks. Make no mistake. Okay? Quarter mile eventually. Listen, I'm being funny. About 15 seconds. High 14s, low 15s in these things, out of the factory. But that's not really why you bought these. You bought these for an image, for the stance, for the revs you got out of it, for that low end torque. Come on. These were cruisers. Now, some guys worked with these. Some guys put these trucks to work. But listen, you guys got to tell me which one for you. Is it the Chevy 454 SS? Is it the Ford Lightning SVT? Okay, I'm going to give you my vote. 454 SS wins solely because it was a big block, are you kidding me, big block Chevy. In 1993, if I'm on the lot and I'm looking at a Ford Lightning with a 351 Windsor versus this thing with a big block Chevy 454, listen, my inner muscle car guy, my inner muscle car child has to go with the Chevy 454 SS. Come on! You tell me which one for you, cuz. Be honest. Okay, guys, listen. We talked about the two legends in late 80s, early 90s. Chevy 454 SS, Ford Lightning, SVT 351 Windsor. But let's look at what came next. Let's look at what came next, okay? So, listen, Ford was not messing around, and they were not done yet. How about this? This might be the ultimate evolution of the Ford Lightning, or so we thought. Maybe it was. Considering what came later, this was the ultimate evolution. Listen, the supercharged Lightning, what do you guys think? You used to see these on the road a lot. Now you don't so much. I think a lot of these went into collections, or a lot of these got wrecked. A lot of guys were taking these to the drag strips, modding the heck out of them. If I could find a really nice cherry example, I'd buy one of these too, real quick. I always want to get my hands on one of these, but I don't want one that's been messed with. I don't know about you guys, but listen, in my opinion, while I prefer the previous generation Chevy 454 SS, when it comes to what came next in the early 2000s, forget about it. Ford Lightning, that's my rig right there. That's the one I want, and I still want one today. But we got to talk, guys. We got to talk. What came next out of Ford? Years later. Shame, shame, shame on you, Ford. How could you put the Lightning badge on this vanilla milquetoast F150 EV? Listen, I'm not an EV hater. Those that know me know that I'm not an EV hater. But if you're going to put that Lightning badge on a truck, Ford, I'm talking to you, it better be special from a performance standpoint. You better recognize the history of the Lightning and what it means to us car guys and truck guys. Come on, man. This thing's not cool. This is a nerd truck. Come on, guys. There's nothing special about the F-150 Lightning other than that light bar in the front. Okay, the headlight bar is kind of cool. I like it. Gee whiz factor, LED, whatever the hell it is. But again, go back and look at the first two generations of what Ford called the Lightning F-150. Compare it to this, and it's just a badge job. I'm sorry. It's a badge job. And look, if you're an EV person and gee whiz, if you got a deal on one of these, listen, the market has spoken. Nobody wants these. The only people who are buying these are those that get a super crazy deal, in my observation. Just my opinion, right? It's not like, oh, boy, I want to get a really cool Ford Lightning. No, you don't. If you want a cool Ford Lightning, you got to go back to the 90s, okay? Or the early 2000s. That's the one you want. Nobody wants this thing. It's just not cool. The performance isn't there. The range isn't there. These things got dragged in the initial reviews because, it's my understanding they didn't do too well in towing and range and all those other things. If you have a different experience with it, leave me those comments. I want to hear about it. But Ford, get the Lightning badge off this thing. It does not belong on there. That's just my humble opinion. Tell me what you think. And then, guys, I want to show you something else. Chevrolet. Listen, the Chevy Silverado SS of the 2000s, pretty cool truck, all-wheel drive. That's the big difference. The Lightnings of this era in the 90s were not all-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive only. This guy did not have the big block Chevy anymore. I think it had a 6-liter in it or something. Don't hold me to that. But bottom line, she was all-wheel drive, Silverado SS, a very cool truck, okay? And had some of that cool, sinister factor to it, the styling, the SS. Not quite as cool as what we got in the late 80s, early 90s with the 454 SS. But I think this was true to form, and they did it justice. These trucks are really cool, too. A lot of guys worked with these and used them as dailies. And, you know, if I could find a nice one of these, I might consider snagging it. Really cool. The Chevy SS. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing that we did with Ford. I'm going to look at the current EV version of the Chevy Silverado. Now, guys, okay, the Chevy Silverado EV, hear me out. Hear me out. Unpopular opinion. This thing actually looks pretty sharp. I was on a trip a couple of weeks ago and staying in a hotel, and in the hotel parking lot every day while I was there, a guy had a Chevy Silverado EV plugged in to one of the EV charging stations, and that truck was striking. That truck caught my eye. Every morning I walked out there, your buddy CJ was looking at this thing, double looking, doing a double take. I almost snapped a shot. I almost snapped a photo for you guys. It was a good looking truck. And I think Chevy got the styling right. Hear me out. I could rock with this, okay? You know, this over an F-150 Lightning, hands down, any day. They did make a performance model. You're looking at it here, although I'm not sure they're bringing it back for 26. Listen, I think it's just from an aesthetic standpoint, an appearance standpoint, I couldn't live with myself with the F-150 Lightning. It's not a Lightning to me. EV. The Silverado EV, if I was in the market for an EV truck, I would definitely buy this. I'd buy it over a Cybertruck. Okay, I also like the GMC Hummer. Unpopular opinion, I think that's a very cool EV truck. And it sure as hell is a lot better looking than the Cybertruck. It's a lot more cool than an F-150 Lightning. And I think the Silverado EV comes in second. And you guys tell me what you think. I think Chevy got it right. Not sure that I'm ready. I mean, listen, if I was in the market for a full-size pickup truck, I'm probably not going EV, okay? I'm going to be real with you guys. But I do think the gee-whiz factor is there. The cool factor is there. I don't think that there's going to be 20, 25, 30% of the market EV and small pickup trucks in this country. It's not happening. Forget about it. Listen to Mr. Toyota, okay? He got it right. He said hybrid is the way. Carbon is the enemy. Hybrid is the way. EV is not the solution in our lifetimes, folks. Prove me wrong. Let me know where the indicator is that EV is going to take over. In light pickup trucks, your average truck guy does not want one. Attention, major automotive manufacturers, learn your lessons. Learn your lessons from Mercedes-Benz and from the Ford F-150 experiment and the Mach-E, okay? And all these other EVs, cars and trucks. Cybertruck. Anybody want a Cybertruck? Listen, I thought they were kind of disruptive and cool when they first came out. I do not feel that way anymore. They are not disruptive and cool. They're ugly. All the quality issues. Okay, I've driven a couple Cybertrucks. The gee-whiz factor is there from a technology standpoint. I don't want one. So listen, guys, we covered a lot of ground tonight very quickly. Just wanted to come on here, spend a few minutes with you because you know your buddy CJ loves talking cars and trucks with you. But you got to tell me, going back to the 90s, if we're on the lot together and you got 20 grand in your pocket, you going with the Ford Lightning F-150 SVT with that 351 Windsor or the Chevy 454 SS pickup truck, V8 rear-wheel drive, big block? Guys, until I see you on the next one, be safe. I'll see you on the road, and peace.